Here's your Neighborhood Moment, a chance to find out about events, activities, and what's happening in your area.
Hello, I'm Elton Gatewood. Welcome to our Neighborhood Moment. I'm with the West End Neighborhood Council, and we have our guest today, Ms. Jenny Eberhard, who's with the West End, and Ken Kingsbury. Welcome to the Neighborhood Moment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's good to be here.
We have a lot of activities going on in the West End. And Jenny, I wanted to ask you, more recently, I understand that you guys were preparing for emergency preparedness before it hit the areas in the southern part of the United States by purchasing stables that would help people in times of that. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. Thank you, Elton. The West End for the last 10 years has tried to figure out what we can do in order to be prepared. As you know, everybody is talking about when the big quake happens. And so we ran into a situation where we purchased food. And it's 450 servings of food, anywhere from breakfast food to juices to lunch and dinner meals. And all of them are packaged kind of like the MREs so that they're good for 25 years of shelf life. We also decided that having food was not the only thing we needed. We also needed to be able to have fresh water.
Right.
And knowing that if we have a huge earthquake, the possibilities of water running out was going to be pretty high. So we also purchased water purification system. And so at our meeting last month, we presented this to Chief Duggan and to Station 16, where we will keep this. And hopefully, throughout the years, we plan on purchasing even more food so that eventually we would be able to help the West End Neighborhood Council area to survive for the first 3 to 4, maybe even 5 days after an emergency happens. It will allow us to purify 10,000 gallons of water.
Wow.
And so that should help considerably in any kind of an emergency. We purchased extra filters, and it's kind of like one of those large coffee pots that you put on the shelf, and you can give water to all sorts of different people. You can put it into containers, or you can use it for cooking. And you can use anything from, you can even use flood water and purify it, and it becomes 99.9% pure water.
Yeah, the reason I asked that there's such a dire need for water in Puerto Rico.
Right.
And I was wondering why the government didn't use something as simple as you had said it, but you know.
I've thought the same thing, and even with my daughter in Florida through the last hurricane, I wished that I'd had time to send her one.
Sure.
They're only, they're really relatively cheap for a couple of $100.
Wow.
You could do that, and 10,000 gallons of water is a lot.
Would be
So
really
that would take care of a lot of people.
life-saving, yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, Ken, I wanted to ask you also in terms of the emergency preparedness. I understand the fire chief came out to receive this. It was kind of a moment. The timing of it was unfortunate but good because you had already ordered this stuff before the natural disasters happened, you know, in Texas and Florida and Puerto Rico. So there was a lot of foresight in our preparation, or the West End's preparation for
Correct.
an earthquake, hypothetically speaking. We don't have too many hurricanes in this area. So kind of give me a little insight as to what the thinking was. Jenny had provided some information, but do you have anything that you want to highlight?
Well, we've been, like Jenny said, we've been discussing this for a number of years and trying to come up with a solution. And Jenny come up with this outfit that supplied this stuff, and we finally made a decision to start where it's on a low-scale basis, but to be added to every year. You know, it's not you know that we could have an earthquake tomorrow, but the thing is you never know, and it can happen tomorrow or 100 years from now. But if you're not prepared, then you're going to be in that situation that a lot of places are, and just getting things ready. And even if it's just simply a small start, but going on from there, then you're prepared.
Let's hope we don't have to use that, okay?
Correct.
Keep it there for 25 years.
There you go.
And some other activities have been going on the West End. You recently had a cleanup this summer.
Yes.
I was there to help out, and I saw cars lined up and round several blocks. In your opinion, how did that go?
Well, I would say it was very successful. We had a few little glitches here and there, but overall, there was, I've got the stats, and we had close to 35 tons of garbage. That's
I can't imagine 35 tons.
yeah,
What's
garbage.
35
Well, that's
tons
garbage
like?
and metal, and you know, that was with 32 containers, and that's 30-yard dumpsters. So,
Okay.
and we filled 32 of those. 253 tires, and 12 refrigerators. Now, over the years with doing this, we do once a year, usually one or two, and I was really surprised at the amount of refrigerators this time was 12. Also, we had St. Vincent there, which took donations, and we had our CLOs from the police department, and 10 community volunteers.
Okay. Only 10 volunteers for that
Yes.
month.
Yes, and it was a workout.
Everybody wants to dump, but nobody wants to help out.
Right.
Definitely a
right.
workout.
That's kind of
Right.
unfortunate.
But it was successful, and you know, there's some good times doing it, you know, and sometimes there isn't, but it's just, it cleans up. It helps clean up the city.
Now, what are you going to do with all of those tires?
Well, those tires go to when they haul them off in the containers and that, they are sold
Oh,
for they go to a company that grinds them up and uses that
rubber.
material for I guess playgrounds or
so you're not going to
streets
recap
or-
them?
I'm not going to recap them.
I
No,
was just wondering.
no. I mean, we could send them over, you know, your place, but we'll keep them.
Thanks, but no thanks. Well, Jenny, Ken has already indicated when successful. Why don't you add something to that?
Well, I think every year, the 10 volunteers were volunteers from our neighborhood
Right.
people. We also had community volunteers from the community service people in the city of Tacoma. I think it was a great success. I think that we've got a good place to hold it, which is at the Park and Ride right by our meeting room by War Memorial Park. And so I think people are used to it, and I have people coming up to me all year long and asking if we're going to have the cleanup again in the following year. So the people are looking forward to it. It gives them a chance to bring their items and things that you would have to pay for at the dump. You don't have to pay for when we have a cleanup, particularly tires. So that makes it good for everybody who has a collection of tires and don't know what to do with them.
At the last meeting, you had standing room only.
Yes.
I never saw so many people, and there seemed to be an issue throughout the city of Tacoma in terms of homelessness.
Correct.
And everyone think homelessness is limited to the downtown areas in certain spots, but you also strapped with that challenge, let's say
Right.
it that. And so with all of those people, were there any things resolved, or it was just kind of an open discussion?
Well, it was both. It was an open discussion, but we had many of the City of Tacoma staff people at our meeting, and they made suggestions. The people in the area around War Memorial Park are concerned that so many people that are homeless are sleeping at War Memorial Park, and therefore their garbage and all of the leftovers from their camping are needing to be taken care of, and they don't know exactly what to do. The other problem that they talked about was the fact that they're seeing a lot of rat involvement in that area. The city came out and walked through the whole area and did not find any rats in War Memorial Park. They found the problem up at the condos, so they made suggestions for the people who live in the condos so that they would be able to take care of that problem. So that was really good. And I think just the fact that city staff were interested enough to come out to the meeting and to talk with them and to offer suggestions like protection through environmental design,
Sure.
all of the different things that the city knows about that the residents just simply either don't know about or don't know how to go about getting it started. So the city gave a lot of suggestions as to what they could do.
Okay. Well, that's great. And I think we'll continue to work to find places for the homelessness. And Ken, I wanted you to have some input, but time is running out. So, like I said, homeless will always be with us. Right. So maybe the next time we can cover that. Right. But I want to thank both of you, and I want to thank the people in the West End that are participating. And I would also like to encourage those persons to not be issue-oriented and to continue their work in making the West End a better place to live.
Very good.
And thank you so very much for the information.
Thank you.
And thank you again for watching The Neighborhood Moment.
For more information on what's going on in your neighborhood, log on to the city's website, cityoftacoma.org/neighborhood councils.